Amiciraciyas are not linear. Are there, in extraordinary situations, internal energetic systems of organism engaged? For example, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Or is there the connection with other protoforms? The fact is that an implemented Amiciracia, consciousness's refocusing, is not so linear as you consider. You think so. In order to reach that configuration, it is necessary to pass through this configuration, the second configuration, the third configuration. There is nothing like that actually. Our Amiciraciyas are performed by resonational principle. In accordance with the situation where we are, definite parts of our brain and of our organism are launched through NVK. Thus, we become automatically a part of the scenarios which resonated to the most extent on the flow of certain information received from receptors from the world around. Then, we become the part of space-time corresponding to the configuration which our bio-creators resonated to. We become within that group of space-time where we are present. Although it seems to us that nothing happens. We keep sitting as we did before. We keep walking as we did. It all will always perceived by us this way, because we realize it all only through our own perception system. However, we notice only the consequences of our Amiciraciyas, only results, and we check them through the perception system of the form, which we have already refocused to. It happens often that a man isn't aware and is perplexed. How did I get there? Such happens sometimes. Definite connection is broken between what happened some seconds before and what is happening to them now. How did I get there? I couldn't just leave this distance as the result of some event. We refocused by subchakra over the whole or some levels of consciousness to the given point in space, which isn't duvulert, which is consecutive, in relation to our previous space point. Non-linearity of our focus dynamics is the main characteristic of space. Are we talking about focus dynamics now? This is also included. You have asked the question, and I told you about scenarios. If you keep thinking consecutively, meaning it requires to be in definite order, it is wrong. Actually, there is no required order. Scenario shatters into many other scenarios every instant. In the next instant, it shatters again into many other scenarios. Everything occurs in accordance with the state of the highest resonationness, synchronization between our focus configuration and scenarios which have already happened golochronically in a single moment and which have been fixated into NVK. Every time creators are oriented to NVK, there is the reference for them, the example, and they can't do otherwise. Their configurations are able to respond only to the resonational action. Nevertheless, where are energies brought from? Are they from ATP of the given organism, which have refocused? There are mechanisms which allow to transmit the power by means of ATP, GTP, instantly by transforming the lipids placed in cells into the energy directly. Adenosine triphosphoric acid, Does it mean that it all is limited by organism and the given body configuration, to which I have refocused to? Is energy brought from there? No protoformal interrelations aren't engaged, are they? Does it mean that these biocreators manifest through other protoforms? Yes, but in the moment before jumping over a 6-meter wall, you choose the scenario with favorable finish. Meanwhile, concurrently there are your reactions in parallel scenarios where you jumped but not so high. Or rushed around the wall. Everything is up to narrow specifics of the configuration which you occupy. The corresponding consequences come. The specifics includes amino acid content, molecular content, atomic content, certain substances required for emergence of energy, whether they are present or not. All opportunities for manifestation of every moment are fixed in NVK. We experience that moment either in one way or by another one, or by the third one, depending on correspondence of our configuration to the scenario, which had already been realized in NVK before the moment when it was implemented in NVK. It turns out that in the given stressful situations, we can say that some creators, let it be of neocortex or paleocortex, play more dominant role, can we? They play more dominant role due to the command came to them from NVK in relation to every biocreators group, every part of our organism, particular areas of brain, for example, in order for jumping over a wall. However, there aren't some required things in one kind of scenarios, meaning resonance occurred not by the highest amplitude, not in ideal variant. Every percent of inconsistency with the most favorable variant leads our actions either to partially implemented attempts or to even not happened attempts to make the given choice. Do the nuclear creators work first of all, and after that biocreators get engaged? Yes. First of all, there is a response from creators of nuclear genome in all cases. Then, biocreators are launched by the two ways. The way of transmission through biochemical processes and the way of wave transmission by means of electric signal. By means of electric signal immediately, momently there appears excitement of the parts which respond resonationally to NVK depiction of certain scenario, and it is performed here. If you realize yourself in the current configuration, you realize just these actions. Different actions are unknown to you because you respond through this certain perception system. Another perception system was in other chemical biological terms, which allowed it to make different choices. The states of certain brain parts corresponding to that perception system also feed other realizations, not those which you cut in for the only reason that you didn't have enough hormones, or definite transmitters didn't emit, or your skeletal structure, muscle structure, wasn't formed correspondingly.
нейротрансмиттеры, ну и так далее. Или не сформирована соответствующим образом скелетная структура ваша, мышечная структура. Вот. Потому что в таком...
This is because, in such case, if activating definite brain parts, let it be insular lobe, which gives a command for something, and muscle structure doesn't meet the requirements of that command, you break an arm, a leg, or neck. Further, in next paragraphs, there is written, that happens not so rarely as it may seem to some of you. Simply, we don't pay attention always to that we exceed usual norms in some our actions. For example, is it the same as that we lifted something? Yes, somebody asked you, hey, help me please to lift it. Otherwise, you came, made an effort, coped with it, and suggested it was normal. After that, by the evening, you had your lower back pain, arms muscles pain, or something else.